نحن أصحاب المعاني لسنا أصحاب الألفاظ. الألفاظ الجوفاء لا تجدي. انظر إلى المعنى.
Third question from the Shaykh is that some of the people come along and they start speaking in the serious and grave issues, and they oppose the major scholars who have knowledge, detailed knowledge in these issues, and they bring the claim and they say that we are not forced to follow anyone from the people. No one can force us to follow anybody. So what do you say regarding this shubha? What do you say regarding this issue? Meaning someone comes along and he says, I'm not obliged to follow this sheikh and that sheikh and that sheikh. You know, what is the answer to this? The sheikh says we have to first of all explain a number of issues. The first of them is that, first of all, is that we remind the people with the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he mentions the ayah in the Quran. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوِ الْخَوْفِ عَذَاءُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ لَاتَّبَعْتُمُ الشَّيْطَانَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. That when an affair of public safety or fear comes to them, then they spread it amongst the people. But if they had returned it back to the messenger and to those in charge of the affairs, then the proper investigators amongst them would have known, would have looked into it. And had it not been for the favor of Allah and His mercy, then most of you would have followed shaitan, except a very small number. This ayah is the famous ayah used by the scholars to indicate that whenever there are grave and serious issues which affect the Muslims, affect the safety of the Muslims, or the public security of the Muslims, and issues which affect them in their deen and their dunya, that it has to be returned to the Messenger of Allah in his lifetime, when he's alive, and to the people of knowledge, after him. And so, once we understand this ayah, then we see that we refer back to the Messenger of Allah, or we refer back to the people of knowledge. And this is either the rulers or the scholars who are in a position to speak about these affairs and who are in charge of the people's affairs. Okay, now, the Shaykh brings a narration from Umar radiallahu anhu, who said that the Messenger of Allah, it was spread about the Messenger of Allah that he had divorced his wives. So this news was spread amongst the people. So Umar came and he said, I came to the Prophet ﷺ, and I said, O Messenger of Allah, have you divorced your wives? And so the Messenger of Allah said, he said, La, no. So then Umar radiallahu anhu, when this ayah was revealed, and Umar bin al-Khattab, he said, Ana min alladhina yastanbitunahu. Ana min alladhina yastanbitunahu. So he's saying that I am the one who is mentioned in the ayah, because I am the one who is the proper investigator. I came and I investigated. Okay, so the Shaykh is mentioning this as a first point in response to the doubt. The second doubt is that when a person says we're not obliged and forced to follow anybody or make ittiba of anybody, the Shaykh says, yes, this is true. We're not obliged to follow anybody. However, this statement is mujmal. This is general, it's ambiguous. It can be correct and it can be false. Rather, what is correct is not that we follow an individual, but we follow the evidence that the individual brings. Right? This is how it should be stated. So how it should be stated is that when an individual brings evidence, we are forced to follow that person or that sheikh or that alim. This is how it should really be said. But we see that the people of Hizbiyah, the people of deviation, always bring things and they present it in a general sense. And in a general sense, there's maybe some truth in it. I'm not forced to follow anybody. This is true, you're not forced to follow anybody. This is true. But it's general, mujmal, and by this they misguide the people. So the Shaykh says that the truth is that consideration is given to the evidence. Whoever brings the evidence, then you are obliged to follow that evidence when he brings it. So then the Shaykh says that when we refer the issue back to Allah and His Messenger and to the people of knowledge, then we present things by way of evidence. And then the Shaykh goes on to say that we go back to the people of sound knowledge, sound aqeedah, sound manhaj, and when they speak with the truth and with evidence, then it is obligatory to follow them, especially when they warn against a man who's deviated or in whose manhaj there is corruption, and so on and so forth. So therefore, this statement is batil, the Shaykh says, and corrupt.